topic, the various concepts which we'll be covering today is basic program structure, components of C, character set, variables and identifiers, built-in data types, operators, expressions, constant and literals, and simple assignment statements. This is the basic program structure of a C. Whenever you are making a program, you have to remember one thing, that first of all you need to use the processor directive. There is one more thing I'll show you after this slide. Above this documentation comes, then processor directive. After this, some global declaration. Global declaration are those declarations which you want to use within the entire program. This is must. This main function is must. Main is the start point of execution. Whenever you are writing a program in C, you should write main function. Without main, nothing will be going to get executed. You can have so many number of functions in your program. You can use inbuilt function also, for which you are using preprocessor directive. But if you are not using main functions, these functions will not be going to work. At last you have to call these all functions within main. Within main also you can declare some variables and all. That is a part of local declaration. By default, main return integer type of value. If you don't want that the main should return integer type value, you have to mention the return type as void. Void means nothing, empty. So as you are not passing any argument to, so first of all we'll see what is preprocessor directive. Basically, preprocessor directives provides number of tools that are unavailable in other high-level languages. The programmer can use these tools to make the program easy to read, easy to modify, portable, and much more efficient comparatively. The preprocessor, as its name implies, is a program that processes the source code before it passes through the compiler. It is already pre-processed. It operates under the control of what is known as preprocessor command lines or directives. These directives are placed in the source program before the main line. Before the source code passes through the compiler, it is examined by the preprocessor for any preprocessor directives. Preprocessor directive follow a specific syntax rule that are different from other normal C statements, and that is they all begin with hash. Whenever you are using preprocessor directive, you have to use hash symbol in column 1, and it never requires any semicolon. No need to use semicolon to use preprocessor. Certain preprocessor directive which we will be learning in detail in last unit also. In short, we can see that hash define is a preprocessor directive which is used to define a macro substitution. Normally we can say it is used to define constants also. Undef is to undefine a macro already defined before. Hash include is used to include the file. It includes header files, and in header files are of two types. One is system defined, one is user defined. Whenever you are using system defined header files, you have to say hash include within less than and greater than symbol the name of a header file with extension. But in case you are using user defined header file, you have to enclose the name of a header file within double quotes in place of less than and greater than symbol. If def is a test macro in which using if conditional statement you can check the conditions also, and accordingly you can substitute the value of a macro. Endif specifies the end of if. If endif is if it tests whether the macro is defined or not. If is also a macro which is used to mention the conditions. Else is to mention the condition if in case we want to execute the parent condition get failed, so what is to be done. So it moves to the else part. Two popularly used preprocessor directives which we will be using in the program is one, hash define. Hash define is a preprocessor compiled directive. It is not a statement. It allows you to declare constant values. Hash define instructs are usually placed at the beginning before main function. Whenever you are using hash define, no need to use semicolon. All symbolic constants are to be written in uppercase whenever you are using or declaring those constant using hash define. You can declare the variables also as a constant while writing a program. For that we use const keyword. So if you are using hash define to differentiate between preprocessor or macro defined constant and normal constants, you should use there should be difference between cases. In lower case you go for go with const, and for upper case you go with hash define. Symbolic constants are not declared in declaration section. Macro definitions are not variables and cannot be changed by your program like other variables. You generally use the syntax when creating constant representing either number or string. Like here, this is the syntax: hash define cname and then value. No semicolon has come over here. Or you can say hash define cname within bracket expression. So here cname is the name of a you can say constant which will be using in the program while writing some set of statement. This example here, age is a constant with value 10 in it. Either name is a constant string having value Jim's VK2 stored in it. Next is hash include. Hash include directive is also a necessary directive which you will be using all throughout writing a C program. It is divided into modules or functions. Some functions are written by user, like we people will be writing, and some are already stored in the C library. Those library functions which are already stored are known as header files. To access those all library files or header files, we need a preprocessor directive, that is hash include, and we mention it in this way: hash include less than the name of a header file greater than. If this header file is made by the user, then in spite of this less than and greater than symbol, double quotes will be good. Now comes to another section, that is main. It is mandatory to have a main function in a C program. By default, main returns int. These are the various ways in which we can write main. Either we can write main only, or int main void, or main void. All the four are same. All these four functions will be returning integer value. It is must to have a return statement, return 0. Whereas if you don't want to return the 0 statement, you have to write void main or void main void. In all the functions we are not passing anything. So that's why either we write void or not write, it is one and the same thing. Next is comments. There are two ways to give the comment in C. One is block comment, another is single line comment. Block comment is always used to give for documentation purpose. It is to be used in this way: slash asterisk, then write as many number of lines you want to write, then write asterisk slash. Most of the places you see the document in this way: slash asterisk, then the points which you want to mention with double asterisk, and the lines which you want to write over here, then asterisk slash. Single line, at the beginning only you have to prefix the statement with double slash. Role of semicolon. You should very well aware of this thing, that in C program semicolon is a must. Every statement is to be enclosed by semicolon. Semicolon means this statement is itself a complete statement. If in case you are using some control statement, then the situation is different. But if you are writing an independent statement, it should enclose by semicolon. Then comes white spaces. White space is a line containing only white spaces, possibly with a comment, is known as blank line. So C compiler ignores it. White space is the term which is used in C to describe blanks, tabs, new line characters as well as comments. White space actually separates one part of a statement from another and enables us to read the statement properly, and tells the compiler to identify where one element in a statement such as int ends and next begins. Therefore, in the following statement, int space age. So it tells to the compiler that int is a data type and age is a variable, and this is a semicolon means terminator. It means कि age is a variable which is of integer type. Similarly, you can write in this way also, sum is equals to num1 space plus space num2. So here it tells that num1 is a variable and num2 is a variable which is storing some integer value, which when get summed together, the result will be going to get stored in sum. These are the character set which are used in C. Character sets which are supported by C are alphabets, letters and some special characters which are having some specific meaning in it, like uppercase alphabet, lowercase alphabet, all digits, and these all are the special characters which are used purposely. And white space characters like blank space, new line, horizontal tab, carriage return and form field. Now the various tokens which are available in C are 6 in number: keywords, identifiers, constants, strings, special symbol and operators. So C supports these all tokens, and these all tokens are to be used purposely. How we will see one by one. Keywords are a reserve word which are used for a specific purpose only. They are having some meaning that cannot be changed. Wherever we are using, they actually render the meaning of that particular keyword. There are 32 reserve words, and these are used, like here if we look at the example, int roll number. Int is a keyword. We cannot use int as it is. Whenever we are using int means I want to specify this, tell this to the compiler that I am talking about integer data type. Whereas roll number is a name of a variable. This is made by the user. It should be meaningful, it should be small, it should not contain spaces, it should not be made up of keywords. List of keywords which are having specific purpose in C: auto, double, int, struct, switch, typedef, union, unsigned, void, volatile, static, short, register, extend, float, for, goto, if, const, char, case, huge, far, interrupt, near. Identifiers. Identifiers are the name given by users to the variables or to the arrays or to the functions or to the structures or to the unions, labels. They are used to identify during the execution of a program or writing of a program. If identifier is not used in the external linkage, then it will called the internal identifier. Internal identifiers are local identifiers. Whereas if the identifier is used as external linkage, it is called as external identifier. External identifiers can be the name of functions we'll be using in the program which are defined outside main, or global variables which we'll be using in the entire program that are also defined outside the main. There are 52 alphabetical characters, underscores and 10 numerical digits which are used to define an identifier. We cannot use any keyword, and in special character also we can use underscore. No spaces, question mark, nothing, exclamation mark, no. Only alphabets, either upper or lowercase, all the digits and underscore as a special character. So there is total 63 alphanumerical characters which are used to represent the identifiers. The identifier name should be small and meaningful. The first character of an identifier should always be either alphabet or underscore. Digits are not allowed. It should not begin with numerical digit. It can be in upper or lower case. Commas or blank spaces are not at all allowed. Keywords cannot be used. Length of the modifier should not be more than 31 characters, whereas it is suggested that it should be meaningful and short and easy to use. Because if you mention a very large identifier name, you have to use it repeatedly, and it will be a cumbersome job for you. So it should be small and meaningful. These are the valid identifiers: total, sum, average, underscore m, sum underscore 1. Whereas these are invalid, like to sum, you cannot start with number. Int is a keyword, char is a keyword, plus is a special character. So these are invalid identifiers. Constants. These are the various types of constants which are used in C. Constants are those which cannot be modified by the program. These are fixed values. These are also known as literals. And constant may be belonging to any of the data type also, like const is the keyword which we use to declare a constant, the name of a data type, then variable name. These are the different type of constant. न्यूमेरिकल कांस्टेंट के अंदर इंटीजर कांस्टेंट, रियल और फ्लोटिंग कांस्टेंट आता है. कैरेक्टर कांस्टेंट के अंदर सिंगल कैरेक्टर कांस्टेंट और स्ट्रिंग कांस्टेंट आता है. एंड बैकस्लैश कैरेक्टर्स होते हैं, डेसिमल कांस्टेंट होते हैं. तो ये कांस्टेंट का एग्जाम्पल है. जैसे इंटीजर कांस्टेंट में कोई भी इंटीजर वैल्यू हो सकती है. अगर आप अनसाइंड इंटीजर कर रहे हो आप यू लिख सकते हो. लॉन्ग इंट में कैपिटल यू लिख सकते हो. इट एक्चुअली ओबेज द रेंजेस ऑल्सो. These are decimal constants. Octal always starts from 0. Hexadecimal starts from 0x. Character is a simple character. String is within double quotes. Characters are enclosed within single quotes and strings are enclosed within double quotes. Characters can contain single character, whereas string can contain more than one character. These are the rules of constructing C constant. Integer constants must have at least one digit. It must not have decimal point. It can either be positive or negative, but it should not contain commas or blanks. If no sign is preceded, it is assumed that it is positive. This is the range which is of integer data type to have a constant. Real constants must have at least one digit. It must have a decimal. Could be either positive or negative. If no sign precede, it is assumed positive again. No commas or blanks are allowed in real constant as well. Character constant consists of single alphabet, single digit or single special symbol. Anything is a character. Even enter is also a character, but the maximum length should be 1. And string should always be enclosed within double quotes. Character should always be enclosed within single quotes. Backslash characters are having specific meaning. They are preceded by backslash. They have to be used for specific purpose only, and they make use of special functionality which they have. The backslash character. If I am using backslash b, it means कि I want a backspace to be over there. Slash f form field. Slash n means new line will appear. Slash l are carriage return. Slash t horizontal tab. Slash double quotes. You cannot use double quotes as it is. It is a special character. But if you want to get it printed as it is, you have to make use of backslash. So it will overrule its specific meaning and it will treat it as a simple character. Similarly in case of single quote, similarly in case of backslash, vertical tab slash v slash a alert question mark. If you want to print, you have to put a backslash over here. So it will be overruling the specific meaning of or overwriting the specific meaning of question mark. Slash capital N octal constant and slash capital X in hexadecimal constant. So to use the constant in C, there are two ways. One is const keyword, another is hash define. Here semicolon is over there. So this is the difference between declaring constants using const keyword and hash define. Strings in C. Strings are collection of characters. They are treated as array of characters because they stores the characters in a linear fashion, in a sequential manner. They should always enclose within double quotes. The string terminator is /0, that is null string. It automatically get appended whenever you are storing some string. So it means that you have to check whether it is terminated or not. You have to check by knowing this null character. If it is lying over there, it means that it is a terminator of a string. This is how you describe. A8 means it can contain 8 characters. No size means it can contain any number of characters, and you can specify the character in this way also. If individually you are specifying the character using comma, then you have to mention null string also. Operators. Operators are some special symbols which are used to perform operations on operands. We are using computer to perform some arithmetic operations only, to do some processing. There is a special role of operators, because without operators you cannot perform operations using operands. The symbols which are used to perform logical and mathematical operations are called as operators. C operators joins constant and variables to form an expression. Expression is actually a combination of operands and operators, or constant and variables along with operators. Like a plus b into 5 is an expression where a and b is the name of a variable, 5 is a constant, and plus and into is a operator. There are different types of operators. First, unary operator, then binary operator. Unary operators are increment operator, decrement operator, size of operator, and type of operator. Unary operators are those operators which perform operation on single operand, whereas binary operators are those operators which perform operation on two operands. So binary operators are arithmetic operators, relational operators, shift operators, logical operators, bitwise operator, conditional operators, and assignment operators, along with miscellaneous operators. These are the list of unary operators: plus, minus. Suppose if we use plus along with an operand, it means it is positive in nature. Minus with some operand, it means it is negative. But if in case operand is itself negative, then minus into minus becomes positive. It negates the meaning of operand. If operand is negative in nature, it will be going to negate its nature and becomes positive. It is positive, it makes it negative. Increment and decrement operators are of two types, post and pre. Post increment operator, first of all, increase the value of a variable and then assign the new incremented value to the variable. Post, first of all, use the already assigned value of a variable and then increment the value of a variable. Pre-decrement will first of all decrement the value from the variable and then assign to the variable. Post will first of all, it will assign the value of a variable and then it will decrement it and reassign it. Similarly, ampersand is an address operator as we use in scanf. Then asterisk is a pointer variable which is used to store addresses. Size of tells the size of a data type. These are arithmetic operator: plus, minus, into, division, modulus. Modulus is a remainder operator which returns the remainder. If a is having value 5, b is 3, then a plus b becomes 8, a minus b becomes 2, a into b becomes 15, a divided by b becomes 1, it returns quotient, and a modulus b becomes 2, that is remainder. Then this is a relational operator which checks the relationship amongst two variables. Let's say a hold 10 and b hold 20, then relational operator always gives true or false. It checks whether a is less than is equals to b. So yes, 10 is less than is equals to 20, it returns true. Is a greater than equals to b? So 10 is not greater than equals to b, then it will return false. That is not true. If a is less than b, yes, 10 is less than 20, it returns true. Is a is greater than b, 10 is greater than 20, no. A equals to b, it compare the values from both the side. If the value lying at left hand side is equals to right hand side, it will return not true. If a is not equals to b, it's true. Yes, 10 is not equals to 20. Subtract the value of c and then store it into c only. Similarly, c multiplied equals to a, then c division equals to a, or c modulus. This will be modulus equals to a. Today, thank you for the class. We'll see you next time.